We're continuing to explore the first of the 7 points that I shared yesterday, and that is that Jesus is the most influential person who ever lived. And I gave a number of reasons why I think that's supported, but I just want you to understand that 3 of the things that he fundamentally changed. First of all, Jesus changed the perceived value of human life, especially for women and for children, the sick, and the oppressed. It was not self-evident to the ancients that all people were created equal or that every person had value. It was not self-evident to Socrates. It was not self-evident to Aristotle. It took Jesus to teach us that we ought to value all people, that they have dignity, and that this dignity is because they've been made in the image of God. It was Jesus who elevated the status of women. It was Jesus that taught us that children ought to be cared for and perceived as having greater value than many saw them. It's Jesus who said that we ought to care for the sick. Jesus persuaded people by his example and by his teaching and by his care for others that everyone has value, even those who are sick and weak, even those who have the status of being a have-not. So this was revolutionary. Secondly, the second remarkable thing that Jesus did was to elevate the life of the mind. He never wrote a book, and yet he did tell us we are to love the Lord our God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength. And in doing this, he launches a revolution. When you see the church grow, you see literacy grow. You see the value of the mind grow. You see a framework for life that is going to change things, in part because it sets in motion the scientific revolution. So all these people, Bacon, Galileo, Blaise Pascal, Louis Pasteur, Isaac Newton, and others, all these people are going to look at the Christian worldview, which was fundamentally different than the world views that were in place as Christianity spread. So a lot of people said that the world was chaotic, so there's no reason to study it because it doesn't have any patterns. You can't learn anything from it. Some people said that the world was God, so you can't critically assess it and make evaluations of it because that would be blasphemous. And so Jesus comes along, the church comes along, and it says, look, we can learn about God by studying Jesus, but also by studying the things that Jesus created by natural revelation. And that's natural science, natural theology. Natural theology is what science used to be called. And it was, how can we learn more about the Creator by studying the creation? And in the process, we set the scientific motion in place. The last thing that I'll say in terms of his influence is it's just worth noting that Jesus changed the way people think about other people and think about right and wrong. Among the things that ancient historians credit Jesus with doing is changing our understanding of humility. In the ancient world, the Greeks and the Romans, you were not considered a better person if you admitted your weaknesses. You were just considered weak. And so there's this radical transformation that takes place when Jesus, who is this obviously profound person, keeps serving others and keeps sort of stepping down. Most people think of Jesus, they think of somebody who's he goes to the end of the line and he cares for others and he's not elevating himself. And so they want to be like that. Of course, that's part of his teaching as well. But when we see Jesus, we see somebody who washes the feet of other people. And this is going to set in motion a revolution about what it looks like to be a good person. So today, let's note that this uneducated, itinerant, never wrote a book carpenter changes the world more than anyone else. He stands alone in terms of his global historical impact. Have a good day.